All right, diving into the world of industrial automation today. And, things can get pretty complex,
Yeah.
but we're focusing on something pretty basic.
Mm.
Pressure gauges.
Absolutely.
Specifically, we're going to figure out when they're telling the truth,
Right.
when are they giving you good readings,
Yeah,
more importantly, when are they lying to you?
exactly.
And we're going to get into some really useful info, especially from our friends
Right.
over at Pakistan Controls and Industrial Automation.
Right.
They really know their stuff when it comes to pressure gauges.
For sure. They live and breathe this stuff every single day.
So, if you're out there listening and you're dealing with these complex industrial systems,
Mm-hmm.
the accuracy of your pressure readings is super important.
Absolutely. It's like the foundation of it all.
We want to make sure in this deep dive you get the knowledge to identify when something might be off.
Yeah. Some real practical, actionable insights.
And when you might need to calibrate that pressure gauge.
Right. We're going to give you those aha moments where you're like, wait a minute, I need to check this thing out.
Exactly.
Got to stay on top of it.
All right, let's jump right into it.
Let's go.
First sign, pretty obvious one, maybe overlooked sometimes, but
Yeah.
when your pressure readings are just plain wrong,
It happens, sometimes it's right in front of you.
they're just off.
Mhm.
So,
Like imagine you've got a gauge
okay.
and it's stuck on 0,
Yeah.
but you know for a fact there's pressure in the system.
Okay.
Or let's say the needle's going crazy,
Oh,
jumping
yes.
all over the place for no reason.
That's no good.
Not good at all,
Mm.
especially in these industrial environments where the stakes are high.
Right?
Relying on bad readings like that can lead to all sorts of problems.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, process inefficiencies,
Right.
even safety issues.
Absolutely.
I've seen cases where, somebody misread a pressure gauge,
Uh-huh.
a valve wasn't adjusted properly, and then bam, a whole bunch of material went to waste.
Mm.
Costly mistake,
Yeah,
all because of a tiny little pressure reading.
that makes perfect sense. What about when the readings,
Yeah.
they seem okay at first glance,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe the gauge has been through a lot?
Right. It's been knocked around a bit.
Yeah, like physically stressed. Maybe it's been in some rough conditions.
That's our sign number 2. Exactly.
Okay.
That gauge is taking a beating.
Right.
You got to think about where it's located, right?
Ah.
Is it attached to a machine that vibrates a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Has there been a sudden pressure spike?
Right.
Even if it was within the gauge's limits, that can still cause issues.
Okay.
And even just a small bump.
Right.
Over time, those little impacts can really affect the delicate components inside.
Makes sense.
You know those Borden tubes, those coiled tubes inside many gauges?
Yeah.
All that vibration can cause them to deform,
Okay.
and then your readings are off.
So it's not just about going over the maximum pressure.
No, not at all.
It's about the general wear and tear, too.
Right. All those little stresses
Yeah.
add up over time.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's the environment.
Oh, right.
Extreme heat, corrosive chemicals, all that can degrade the gauge's insides.
And eventually need to get it calibrated.
Exactly.
So we talked about those obvious errors in readings
Mm-hmm.
and then the impact of physical stress.
Yeah.
What's our third sign that we might need to calibrate?
Well, sometimes it just comes down to time.
Time.
Yeah, even if the gauge is living the good life, perfect conditions,
Okay.
all those internal parts, they still experience wear and tear.
Right. Just from normal use.
Exactly, and that leads to what we call drift.
Drift.
Yeah, it's like this slow and steady shift away from the true reading.
Oh, okay. So it's slowly getting less and less accurate.
Precisely.
I see.
And that's why having a regular calibration schedule is
Yeah.
so important. You got to be proactive about it.
So,
And that schedule should consider a few things.
okay.
What does the manufacturer recommend? What are the standards in your industry?
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, how critical is that specific pressure measurement?
I see.
If it's super important, you got to check it more often.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So even if everything seems fine, if it's been a while since the last calibration,
Yeah.
that's reason enough to schedule another one.
Absolutely. Think of it like regular maintenance.
Okay.
You get your car serviced, even if it's running fine.
Right.
Same thing with your pressure gauge.
You're just being cautious.
Exactly. It's all about prevention,
Okay.
catching those small issues before they become big problems.
All right. So let's recap.
Okay.
What are we looking out for?
We're on the lookout for those clearly wrong readings.
Mm.
Any signs that the gauge has been through some rough times.
Right. Like physically.
Yeah, physical stress, bad environment, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then simply how long has it been since the last calibration?
That's right.
Even if everything seems okay, time itself is a factor.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice and concise.
Right to the point.
And it all comes back to this
Yeah.
accurate pressure measurements.
Super important.
So important in these industrial settings.
For everything, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Safety,
Yeah.
efficiency,
Yeah.
making sure your products are good quality.
Exactly. Keeping those standards high.
So as you're listening,
Yeah.
think about your own operations.
Right.
Are any of these signs popping up?
Good question to ask yourself.
Maybe it's time to look at that calibration schedule again.
It's always worth double-checking.
And I want you to ask yourself, as you're listening,
Yeah.
how confident are you
Right.
in the accuracy of your pressure readings right now?
It's all about peace of mind.
Think of it as an investment.
Exactly.
Proactive maintenance, timely calibration.
It's not an expense. It's about keeping things running smoothly in the long run.
It's about protecting your team,
Yeah.
your process,
Keeping everything safe.
and your product.
Exactly.
Keeping that quality high.
Absolutely.
So if you're ready to take that step,
And ensure your pressure measurements are on point.
for sure.
Head over to pakcia.com for pressure gauge calibration.
They're the experts. They'll take good care of you.
Absolutely.
All right, that's it for today's deep dive.
Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you next time.
See you then.